with Pro Kickers. Today we're going to be doing my confident picks and some potential underdogs for UFC Fight Night Dricus du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman. Looking through this card, there's some good fights in here. I mean, Alden Correa is probably going to be a confident pick there. He's, minus 1,100, but we're not going to get into that. We're going to get into some confident picks where the odds aren't as juiced. And the first one's going to be this fight right here. Chase Hooper, the Dream, versus Mitch Ramirez. Now, both these fighters are coming off of 2 L's, 2 losses. And yeah, both got finished. Mike Davis knocked out Mitch Ramirez, and also Thiago Moises with the leg kicks finished Ramirez as well. And as for Chase Hooper, knocked out 2 times by Alexander Hernandez and Lance Gibson Jr., who we thought was going to be on a roll, finishing guys with submissions against Borshev, Plessis, and Jim Miller, the veteran, who has looked good recently, even at 42. So, man, Chase Hooper is looking to bounce back here. I do have him as a confident pick versus Mitch Ramirez, who I'm not so sure if he should be in the UFC. But this is a make it or break fight for Mitch Ramirez, so I expect him to come out as his best self. I just don't see anything too special about his striking or his grappling. I think he's just a tough guy there, another body for someone like a Chase Hooper, who we thought was starting to look like a really good prospect. 26 years old, very long for the division, and is very nasty with the submissions as well. So, yeah, he's got a Darce on Borshev, submission on armbar on Plessis and Jim Miller. Pretty easy decision there for Chase Hooper, but he is very liable to get knocked out in any fight, basically. And his chin, has that tall man's chin, that tall man's defense, that chin up in the air, and Lance Gibson finished him and hurt him in the body. Alexander Hernandez just sparked him to the face, I believe it was a big overhand. And yeah, we've seen this time and time again. Steve Garcia, he knocked him out in the first round too. So he's not the most trustworthy guy as a confident pick. But looking through the rest of the card, Chase Hooper against Mitch Ramirez, who I don't think is that great of a overall fighter in the UFC level. So I got to go with Chase Hooper, and I'm going to say he's going to get a submission win here against Mitch Ramirez, looking to bounce back. Now, that's my least most confident pick on this card. And my final most confident pick on this card is going to be none other than CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan versus a 42-year-old, the killer gorilla, Gerard Cannonier. Now, I think this is a simple read for me, where some of the things that we saw in that Michael Page fight, aside from the grappling, I think Christian Leroy Duncan is going to be more game to throw those heavy hands, those heavy strikes, those dynamic strikes. And yeah, I think this fight, this matchup right here is going to be more dangerous and have some explosive moments from CLD in this fight than we saw from Michael Venom Page, who starting to look like a point fighter, going to decisions, and not so much getting the knockout in the UFC, because people don't want to fight Michael Venom Page for 15 minutes. They want to stay away from him. As for CLD, he's really going to be coming at you. I think he's gonna be more game to stand and even trade with you and counter Gerard Cannonier, who I don't believe Cannonier is going to be the same Cannonier that we see when he finished Gregory Rodriguez. I do believe that was a 5-round fight against RoboCop. Yeah. Cannonier is a better 5-round fighter, and this being 3 rounds, I think CLD is going to be fine going 3 rounds with this aging Jared Cannonier, who I don't believe is going to be the same fighter that we've seen him in the past. Against that Martin Vettori, that was 3 years ago. I don't think we're going to see that same Jared Cannonier here. And he's been knocked out. Imavov, he's been eating a lot of damage in the Caio Barrio fight too. And then pretty lackluster against Michael Page, who I think CLD has some similar tools and weapons that Michael Venom Page has with his dynamic striking and I think more explosive power than Michael Venom Page. So this fight, give me CLD, and I'm going to say by knockout. I think Jared Cannonier is going to catch something heavy, and the wear and tear over the years, I don't think his durability will hold up against the explosiveness that is coming from Christian Leroy Duncan. So that's my second confident pick on this card. And really, I only have those two confident picks. Leroy Duncan's minus 380 already. He's already ballooned up. Same with Chase Hooper, who I think is going to be a little bit shakier fighter just because of his durability. And if Mitch Ramirez can connect with something solid, that can be scary for Chase Hooper. And I'm not even going to, I guess you could say possibly put them in a parlay, but that would get a minus 155. Maybe you can just find some better spots on this card. And they are pretty heavy favorites, minus 380, minus 330. Usually I wouldn't go for that, but maybe Leroy Duncan might be a parlay piece there. Potentially Chase Hooper if you're willing to take the chance on his chin, on his durability there. Now, as for potential underdogs, this one right here, Seok Ko, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the Korean Tyson, I'm not so sure if Tyson is the right name because he's a pretty good grappler. He's been really taking these guys down. Phil Rowe, Oban Elliott, he's been really controlling them on the ground and just winning, like just via grappling and control. He's like I guess he's like an oral buy. He's like a Korean oral buy, what it seems like. The Korean Tyson, to me at least. And he has a pretty well-rounded game, but I think his grappling is where he's pretty dominating these guys. And as for Jean-Paul Lebosnoyani, he has more striking, and he went to split decision with Phil Rowe. He has a nice head kick that he hasn't shown yet, but yeah, he's a pretty well-rounded dude. I just think Hyeon Ko has a more dominant path to a win, but I'm not ruling out Jean-Paul Lebosnoyani or JPL Mufasa. I think his striking, if he can keep it standing for at least 2 rounds, I think he's very live to get a win here if he's able to just use his striking and look cleaner in the strikes and stop Korean Tyson from grappling him. And yeah, I think he's a pretty live underdog, even though I do think Ko is more likely to win via decision, something like that. But I think plus 170, Jean Paul, if he's able to keep it standing, I can see this ending up being like a split decision maybe, or like a close fight via judges. I'm not so sure if he'll be able to find a finish. Maybe if he can land a head kick or something like that. But yeah, or maybe catch Ko coming in with a grappling, catch him with a knee or something. But yeah, I think John Paul is a very live dog. Plus 170, there's potential there. Now for my second potential dog on this card, you got to go Austin Bashi here. I think he's going to have the grappling upside. Now this is the opposite of that Ko and John Paul fight. Just Jose Delgado, he's a very dangerous long striker, and this is going to be a tough task for Austin Bashi to get in range to grapple Jose Delgado. But we've seen Jose Delgado struggle in the grappling. He's been able to get taken down by the veteran Andre Fili, and I can just imagine Austin Bashi is going to have an even better grappling game than Feely, being this is his main weapon is to control you and find a submission. And that is a hold in the Jose Delgado side that can possibly be exploited if Austin Bashi can get past all that length and all that dynamic striking that Jose Delgado can throw at him. So this is a live dog here for Austin Bashi. He's a plus 100, so even odds underdog. And I think he has a real path to win here against Jose Delgado. People taking minus 20 on Jose Delgado. I think they're obviously leaning on the striking and the damage upside and also the size advantage that Delgado has, but I'm not counting out Austin Bashi. I think he's a very live dog there. And this is going to be a banger. Tommy Gun McMillen versus Alberto Montes. This is going to be a clash of styles. Tommy McMillen, he's gonna bring the chaos. He's gonna bring the size. He's just gonna be coming at you. He's gonna be like maybe he comes out to bully you. And he has subs too. He has submission wins. He has those guillotine chokes. He has long arms for that guillotine choke. And yeah, he knocked out Manolo Zucchini. We don't know how much we can take from that. Zucchini's just a losing journeyman here in the UFC. But yeah, majority decision in that David Magoyan Contender Series fight. I mean, this was a battle here, and you really see all the chaos that Tommy Gunn brings to his fights, and all that size and chaos and pressure may be possibly too much for Alberto Montes. But I did say there is a live underdog here, and that's on the Alberto Montes side. And before, this was around a pick'em, but now people are taking the Tommy McMillen on the size advantage and all the pressure and power that he's going to bring. I'm not going to say power. I think it's just his size and his bully at this weight class. And Alberto Montes, they have him listed 5'7". So 5'7" Alberto Montes coming up against a 6 foot, 5-inch reach advantage for Tommy Gun McMillen. So that's a real challenge there for Alberto Montes to overcome. Alberto Montes, he's not like the chaos. He doesn't bring the chaos like Tommy Gun McMillen. He's not trying to bully you. He's more of an assassin and looking to counter and more of a technical striker than Tommy Gun McMillen. Tommy Gun is more throwing some volume and some heat. He's basically throwing at you like he's shooting a gun. So with all the chaos that Tommy Gun's going to bring, Alberto Montes is going to have to weather that storm and find his range and look to be the more technical fighter in this fight. I think if he can last, it's going to be tough. This is going to be a tough underdog, but he has a path to win here. Look, all of his wins, this guy is an assassin with the front chokes. Darce choke on Tercios, Anaconda choke in his Contender Series fight, and all of his other wins is like all front chokes, Anaconda choke, Darce choke. He did get knocked out in his Titan FC, but that was 4 years and 6 months ago. This is a true vet now, and he's mastered that front choke, all the different variations. And like he said in his post-fight interview after the Tercios fight, after Tercio was throwing the pressure and just coming at him, Montes said once he catches you, it's done. It's over. It's game over. Once he locks it, you're getting submitted or you're going to sleep. And after seeing what last weekend, the Paddy Pimblett fight, if Tommy McMillen finds himself coming in and pressuring Alberto Montes and some chaos happens and his head is low and he's looking to grapple, he might find himself into a Paddy Pimblett, Benoit Saint Denis situation with this Alberto Montes with that nasty front choke and many different variations that he has with that front choke that he locks in. You're getting submitted if he locks that in. So obviously, if this goes 3 rounds, I think Tommy McMillen may look better to the judges just because of the volume and the pressure that he may be putting on Alberto Montes. I do think Alberto Montes can withstand at least 1 to maybe 2 rounds of the pressure that McMillen may bring to him. I'm going to say I'm like a 60-70% certain that Montes can handle 1 to 2 rounds of the pressure. And then the third round, I don't know. We'll see if the cardio holds up, if he can fight back, if it even gets to that. And the other question is for Tommy McMillen. Can he stay safe and not bring his neck out on a platter for Alberto Montes to just snatch and finish you? So this is a clash of styles. I think this is going to be a fun fight. And I think Alberto Montes is just a very live dog here. Plus 129. It could get wider. I see value in that plus 129. Not so sure on the minus 149 on Tommy McMillen. But man, you can even play. You may even sprinkle some on the plus 240 Alberto Montes by submission. That could be a good prop on this fight. And those are the 3 potential underdogs on this UFC Fight Night card for me. So Alberto Montes, Austin Bashi, and potentially John Paul Lebosnoyani. I think at least one of them will hit. I think one of these underdogs at least will hit, and we'll just see in our official bets what we're gonna go with as an underdog on this week on Friday. So stay tuned for that when we drop our official bets. And then as for, I think let's talk about the main event here. Some thoughts. Man, it's Dricus du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman. You could say potentially we could have thought of Kamaru Usman as a live dog as well. What is he? He's the former champ, 39 years old. Is he on his LeBron era, trying to hit that 40 and still look like a champ? Plus 210 for Kamaru Usman. Honestly, the more I thought about it, I think you got to go to Dricus. You got to go Dricus here. Even though Khamzat just grappled the hell out of him. Dricus had no answer for the grappling against Khamzat. But I don't think Kamaru Usman, the Juice Man, at 39 years old, the Nigerian nightmare, has the knees or the grappling to dominate the size and tenacity of a Dricus du Plessis, a former champ. And who does Kamaru Usman lose to? Former champs. Leon Edwards, Khamzat Chimaev, Dricus du Plessis. Both these guys lost to Dricus. I mean, Kamaru and Dricus both lost to Khamzat. So you can't do MMA math there, so to speak. The Joaquin Buckley fight, that was a bit of a y'all must have forgot. But since Joaquin Buckley fought his most recent fight against Sean Brady, we also must have forgot Buckley does not grapple. Buckley does not wrestle. He can't wrestle against these contenders. So Kamaru Usman grappling Buckley. Anybody in the top 10 who can grapple, I think can grapple Buckley. And even 30-27 impossibly. Because Buckley, that's a big hole. Buckley even said in one of his at his gym, he said, we don't wrestle, we just strike. We're not grappling, we're not wrestling. They don't wrestle over there. So Kamaru Usman basically got a layup, I think, against Buckley, who has a big hole in the grappling. And as for Dricus du Plessis, he's coming in here to fix all his wrongs. And I think Dricus is still in his prime, 32 years old against 39 years old Kamaru Usman. I wouldn't be so quick to take underdog odds on some bad knees on an aging former champ like what we saw in Conor McGregor, Kamaru Usman. These knees, the wear and tear at this age, I don't know if they can handle against someone in their prime like Dricus du Plessis or a Max Holloway in Conor's situation. So give me Dricus du Plessis here. Yeah, I'm at a moderate confidence on Dricus du Plessis getting the win here. Possibly even getting the finish, having 5 rounds to work his bull rush chaotic style that is hard to read. So Kamaru Usman's going to have his hands full. I think Dricus can survive the grappling exchanges against Kamaru Usman here. So give me Dricus. That's going to be the picks, the confident picks, the potential underdogs for UFC Fight Night. Dricus du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman. And there you have it. Wish you guys luck, and we'll be back soon.